Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So welcome everybody. We're coming up to chapter 3 of an easy introduction to Pali. Now, the grammar is getting a little more complicated now. We're getting into some ambiguities of form today. So we're going to see some sentences that can be interpreted in at least two different ways. So instead of covering all of the details of this chapter, we're going to only go through the simple explanation that matches the questions in the exercises at the end of the chapter. And so we're still dealing with the masculine nouns ending in A. This week we're going to talk about the ablative case and the dative and the genitive case. So the ablative case is indicating the origin or source of something. So that could be to go, for example, if you are going from your house to the market. In English, we'll say from the house to the market. Then we have this from would be in the ablative case in Pali. And it's also used for example, for teaching something. So the student learns from the teacher. So quite often, if you see this preposition from in English, we're going to use the ablative. Now, the form in the singular for the ablative, we have three common forms for the masculine nouns in A. So there's the asma, sm long A, mha, mh long A, and a, just long A. Additionally, there's a further form. It's a toe, the ablatives of toe. But we're not going to be covering that in this chapter today. But for example, they talk about the 40 different ways, like anicca-to, dukkha-to. So by way of anicca, by way of impermanence, dukkha-to, by way of suffering. So we're not going to talk about that today. Now in the plural we have the form is ahi or abhi. Ahi or abhi. So for example, if we're talking about the ablative, we're talking about from the teacher. Teacher is acharya. And so we could have acharya from the teacher, or acharyasma, acharyamha. And then in the plural, acharyahi, from the teachers. So to learn something from the teachers we would use this form. Now, we're going to use I think maybe that's enough for now. We'll see some examples in a moment. Now, the genitive case is a very important case in Pali, and it generally denotes possession. So for example, and the form for the singular is asa, so similar to the dative case, and in the plural, anam. So in the case of the word teacher that we just mentioned, acharya, we'd have acharyasa, of the teacher, or acharyanam, of the teachers. Now, there are some other points. The genitive can also be used for denoting belonging to a larger whole. And we don't see any examples of that today, so we won't go into more detail. And there's a very important grammatical form called the genitive absolute that's treated in the textbook, but we haven't learned about the participles yet. So we'll deal with this genitive absolute construction once we get to the participles later. So let's get to our vocabulary. So this, we're still learning masculine nouns. So acharya. Acharya means teacher. Amba. Amba means mango. Apana. Apana means shop or market. Arama. Arama means temple, garden, or park. Asa. Asa means horse. Matula. Matula means uncle. Ovada. Ovada means advice or exhortation. Pambata. Pambata means rock or mountain. Panakara. Panakara means reward or gift. Rukha. Rukha means tree. Sissa. Sissa means pupil. Nijara. Nijara means waterfall. Now, coming to the verbs, we're still dealing with the present tense, and so the conjugation for the present tense verbs, instead of ati for he, ati and anti for he or they or she or they, or asi or anti for you or you plural. Now we've come to if me, like I've done something, or we have done something. So we lengthen. We have an ami or an am. Now, we haven't talked about the 7 different groups of verbs, but for one of the groups of verbs, a lot of the verbs are coming into this group. They get a long A. So we have am, or ami, or am. So this won't pertain to all the verbs. For example, deseti, which we learned, because the E is already long, we get desemi. Desame. We don't get any sort of change in the form of the vowel that's attached to the ending. Now, the word for me, so we'll get the example for the word read. Ahang patami. So I in the nominative. Ahang patami. I am reading. And then for plural, mayang. Mayang patama. We read or we are reading. So ahang and mayang for I and we in the nominative case. So the new vocabulary for the verbs this week, we'll read them in the third person. So he, she, or it, or they. He, she, or it in the third person singular. Ganhati. Ganhati means takes, receives, or seizes. Sanganhati. Sanganhati means treats or compiles. Uganhati. Uganhati means learns. Kinati. Kinati means buys. Vikinati. Vikinati means sells. Nikkamati. Nikkamati means departs or goes away. Patati. Patati means falls. Ruhati. Ruhati means grows. Aruhati. Aruhati means ascends or climbs. Oruhati. Oruhati means descends. Sunati. Sunati means hears. So I think this week, instead of going through all of the translations from Pali to English, maybe we'll do some, I'll tell you which numbers we're doing. We'll leave some of them out because for the sake of time. And then we'll also do some of the English to Pali. So the first question is, Ahang Acharyasma Dhammang Tsunami. Ahang Acharyasma Dhammang Tsunami. So if we start with the verb we start by analyzing the verbs. And so you can see here we have this ahang, which we just learned is I in the nominative. So we're looking for a verb here that is matching with that. And so we look for the ami form. So tsunami, I hear. And then we have some other words. Acharyasma dhammang. And so here we have dhamma in the locative case becomes dhammang. Sorry, not locative, accusative case. And so then this is the object. So we're hearing the dhamma. And then we have one more word here. And it is acharyasma. So we just learned that this asma form is the ablative. So ahang, I, acharyasma, from the teachers. Dhammang, the dhamma. Tsunami, I hear. So I hear the dhamma from the teacher. Ahang, matalasma. Sorry, we'll skip question 2. We'll go to question 3. Ahang asasma patami. So here again, we'll look at the verb first. So ahang, I, and patami. And so then this is fall. It has this ami form, so we know it matches ahang. And patati means he or she falls, so I fall. Asasma. So asa is horse, and then sma is the ablative form, so from something. So I fall from the horse. Number 5. Ahang apanasma ambe kinami. So again, analyzing the verb first. So ahang kinami. So I, and kinami is buy. So I buy, right? Kinati is buy, he or she or it buys. So kinami is I buy. And what are we buying? So we have this word ambe. So amba is mango. And in the accusative plural, mangoes, ambe. If it was one mango, it would be ambang, right? So ahang apanasma ambe kinami. So we have this sma form, which is indicating the ablative. So from the market, apana is market, apanasma. Ahang apanasma ambe kinami. I buy mangoes from the market. Question 7. Mayang acharyehi uganhama. So we learned today this mayang is we in the nominative case. So we're looking for something with the ama form in the verb. So we have uganhama, which means that we learn. So mayang uganhama, we learn, but learning what? It says acharyehi. So ehi, actually we learned earlier ehi could be ehi can work with the instrumental plural. So by with, we can say with, or it can also be the ablative plural, from. So here we have mayang acharyehi uganhama. So we learn either with the teachers or from the teachers. So here we have to look at the context and think, with such a short sentence we don't know, but we presumably we're learning from the teachers. Of course, you could learning with the other teachers from the Buddha or something like that. If there was another part of the sentence, there could be multiple meanings. 9. Mayang acharyanam putte sanganhama. So here we have mayang, so we, and so we're looking for a verb with the ama form. And so we have sanganhama. So sanganhati means he or she treats. So here we have we treat someone. Hu acharyanam putte. So putte is the actual noun. It's in the accusative plural. So sons, acharyanam, of the teachers. So we treat the teachers are the sons of the teachers, so presumably we're treating them well. Sisa samananang aramehi nikkamanti. So here we have some more. So here we have some. It's not immediately obvious what the subject and object are in this one, but of course we're dealing with the textbook. So usually we have the subject first. So sisa. We'll assume this is in the nominative plural here, rather than in the ablative. So the students, and we also get a hint because we have this. The verb is in anti form, so they are doing something. Nikkamanti, they're leaving. So the students are leaving, and what are they leaving? Samananang aramehi. So samananang, of the ascetics. Aramehi, from the monastery or the park. So the students leave the ascetics monastery. Mayang sakatehi gamang gacchama. So this is number 13. So we have a mayang, so we in the nominative. So we know that this is the subject. And then we have gacchama, the alma form, so that's a verb. So we are going somewhere. Sakatehi gamang. So sakata we learned is cart. So here it's in the instrumental form. So we're going by cart. Gamang. So here we have some of these difficulties are starting to come up. So the a form here for gama, this is in the ablative. So it could have been in the accusative plural. Sorry, the nominative plural. But from the context of the sentence, we see this gamang. So why do we have this word gama with village twice? So it's from one village to another village. And so remember, the goal of motion is indicated by the accusative case, so gamang gacchama. So if we had the sentence mayang gamang gacchama, we are going to the village. And if we had this sakatehi, mayang sakatehi gamang gacchama, we are going to the village by cart. But here we have gamang, from village to village. So mayang sakatehi gamang gacchama. We are going from village to village by cart. So let's look at some of the English to Pali. We'll just do a couple of the sentences here. I receive a gift from the teacher. So I receive. So now we have our subject is me. It's I, ahang. And to receive is labati, but here it's labama. Oh, sorry, ganhati. They're translating it as ganhati. So ahang ganhami, I receive, and then from the teacher. So teacher is acharya, and then from, we can translate as acharya or acharyasma. And then a gift is panakara, and then we want it to be in the accusative because you're receiving this. This is the object of the sentence. Panakaram. Ahang acharyasma panakaram ganhami. So for those of you who are planning to speak in Pali, if you're planning to have some conversations in Pali, it's important to learn how to translate from English to Pali. I treat the uncle's teacher with kindness, in brackets with kindness. So again, here we have I, so ahang, and we learn treat is sanganhati. So sanganhati, sorry. And so here it's Sanganhami. So ahang Sanganhami, I treat someone with kindness. And who is it? It is the uncle's teacher. So uncle is matula. And then, so if we use the genitive to indicate the possessive, matulasa. Ahang matulasa, uncle's teacher. Acharya is teacher, acharyam, because this is the object. Matulasa acharyam. So, my uncle's teacher. Ahang matulasa acharyam sanganhami. I am descending from the mountain. So again, we start with the verb. So ahang, I, and then descending is oruhami, oruhati, oruhami. So I am descending. And mountain we learned is pabata. So we can use any of the forms of the ablative. Pabatasma, pabata, ahang pabata, oruhami. Or ahang pabatasma oruhami, if you like. So we'll skip to number 13. You are selling a horse to the father's physician. So, assuming the you here is in the singular, well, singular you, then we'll use tvang. And then remember the form for the present tense with you is asi. Tvang, something asi. And selling is vikinati, so vikinasi. Vikinasi. So that's going to bracket your sentence. Tvang. And then you are selling a horse. So a horse is asang. Asa is horse, but we want it to be the object. So it's in the accusative case, singular. Asang, asang. So tvang asang vikinasi. You're selling a horse, but then it says to the father's physician. To the father's physician. So to something we're going to do in the dative form. So, and it's the father's physician. So here father is Janaka, and then the possessive is Janakasa, right? Because we want it in the singular. So Janakasa, physician is Vedja, and then it's to the physician, and the form of the dative here is going to be the same as the forms of the genitive. Vejasa. So Janakasa Vejasa, to the father's physician. So we finished Tvang Janakasa Vejasa Asang Vikinasi. You, Tvang you, Janakasa Vejasa, to the father's physician, Asang, a horse, Vikinasi, you sell, or you are selling. And we'll go to question 15. Teachers give advice to the fathers of the pupils. So remember, teacher is acharya. And so we want the nominative plural. So acharya. And then to give advice here, they're translating as ovadati. So here we'll say, they're using it as, they're translating it as ovadam denti. So give, right? Give is deity, and because it's plural, it becomes denti. And so then the subject here is ovadam denti. So the teachers give advice, acharya, ovadam denti. And who are they giving it to? So the fathers of the pupils. So fathers of the pupils, so pupils plural, and we want, and it's going to be possessive. So genitive plural is giving the anang form, and pupil is sissa. So sisanang, janakanang. Again, because the dative here, to the fathers, has the same form as the genitive, so the people's fathers. So sisanang janakanang, to the people's fathers. So acharya, sisanang janakanang, ovadam denti. So the sentences are getting a little bit more complex. I hope it's not too overwhelming for you. We left out a lot of the sentences in the textbook today and also some of the grammatical patterns. But we have a limited number of classes in this sort of building a foundation in Pali course. So maybe we'll go back sometime. We can do a more detailed course if people are more interested. So I hope that your Pali studies may go smoothly, your meditation and Dhamma practice may go smoothly, and you may swiftly attain the peace of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.